So everybody ready to jump off the Colorado Buffs bandwagon. Some of the fans is like, fire Deion Sanders. Shut up! Okay? You won one game last year. Ain't nobody trying to hear y'all. That's why you can't listen to these people, man. They love you, hate you one minute to the next. Okay, the program's leveling out a little bit, but none of us thought that they were going to come in, smack TCU, and be so good that it became the talk of all of sports. And just like any sports program in history, you got some adjusting to do. So like Tony Baker said, you got to get your feet together. And Stephen A. Smith had some harsh but good critique as how they can start to do that. Shannon Sharpe chimed in on this too. They got to adjust and get better. But let's hear what they had to say.
It's an absolute disgrace. Unacceptable. The fact of the matter is Colorado came into this game 13-point favorites, okay, and got outscored by a 13-point underdog, 46-14 in the second half after being up 29-0. They're now 1-3 in the Pac-12. Their defense has allowed the second most yards per game at 473.7, Shannon, and the seventh most points per game at 35.9 in all of the entire FBS. I believe that Deion Sanders is a coach. I think he's of a coach. He needs some dogs, as he told us. He's about 7 or 8 dogs away, but here's the problem. The players got caught up in the shine their coach generated. And I'm calling out his son, Deion Sanders, who I love and I think has star written all over him. But whether it was you or by accident, it was somebody on your social media team, you cannot have something being posted at halftime of a game. Tom Brady and your dad already joked with you about what you were driving around with and how you needed to be in the film room. Well,
one question before I go, Tom, do you think a college kid needs a Phantom, like a Rolls Royce?
Nah, no, it's not a Phantom. It's a Rolls Royce Cousin.
I think he needs to get in the film room and spend as much time in there as possible.
Thank you,
less
Tom.
time in the car and more time in the film room.
Thank you, Tom.
Guess what? It is no longer a laughing matter. Y'all are getting your kicked. Show up, stand up, because your daddy and to the players on that squad, your coach is as much bravado as he had, as much swag as he had. He was the best on the planet. Week in and week out, you knew primetime Deion Sanders was the best probably ever. Y'all ain't on that level. Stop acting like it and show up on the field and do what you're supposed to do instead of getting your kicked on national television. Somebody got to say it. Go ahead, Shannon.
They lost this game because they're an undisciplined football team. 17 penalties for 129 yards. 4 times they got caught with too many men on the field. 17 penalties. At what point in time, because I heard Coach Prime game after game, we got to stop the penalties. We got to stop the penalties. We got to stop the penalties. And this is an undisciplined football team. And at some point in time, you guys are going to have to realize, you know what? We got to clean our act up. We're not good enough to overcome the mistakes that we keep committing.
And I'm sick and tired of people looking at prime time and acting like he was all flash and that he just lived off his talent. He was incredibly disciplined.
Yes.
He was incredibly committed. He was incredibly focused. I'm seeing a bunch of dudes that are playing for him. They get caught up in the shine, and they got caught up in all the notoriety that came their way, especially the son who we both love.
Yes.
But come on now.
And he talking about with the watch incident with Arizona State. And while he marketed that after the fact into a deal and all that, and that's understandable, you wasn't barely supposed to beat Arizona State. It's a new standard after almost winning against USC, after beating TCU the way that you did. It's a new standard. And you can't throw the game-ending interception in this game, even though you had some good stats. You can't do that, man. It's a new stat, especially for that defense. The defense is just getting annihilated right now, and it's a new standard. It's not acceptable no more. You know, we got to step it up.
You got to show up week in and week out and exercise that level of discipline. And you can't have stories out there about how you posted something at halftime for your merch on social media. At halftime?
At halftime, I believe Travis Hunter played too many snaps. Remember, Stephen, that he was out a month.
Yeah.
So he comes back and you're going to play him over 100 snaps and you're playing him at an altitude. This is Colorado. This is not sea level. You're playing at altitude and you're playing him that many snaps. And it impacted him, I believe, on both sides of the football.
Yeah, you would know.
I think Shannon Sharpe right about this with Travis Hunter. Like, should have played him here and there. He was initially, Deion said he was supposed to be out longer, but he was back this game, and number 13 on Stanford was wearing him out. I ain't gonna hold you. He made too many big plays on Travis. You know, especially you could see where it looked like he may have re-injured himself when he caught the pass over the middle and caught the touchdown. He held on to it, but he was definitely, they almost tried to help him off the field after that. It's like, I don't know about playing him that hard after that. You know what I'm saying? And just like Shannon Sharpe said, it boils down to the discipline. Like, you cannot have these many penalties and expect to win a game. And then the discipline of, like that last play, got to have the discipline to throw it away if you don't have a play there. A lot of times we see shedeur hold on to the ball a little too long, take a lot of sacks, this, that, and another, trying to make something happen. Got to have the discipline sometimes to just be like, ain't nothing here, and just throw it away. It didn't necessarily look as great as it could have been. I only watched the highlights. I wasn't able to catch it live, but it just, he had, 5 touchdowns and 400 yards. But that one interception, though, the one he should not have thrown, it hurt very badly.
I remember you said before that shedeur puts on his cape and saves these games for
Right.
you. What kind of happened in overtime where maybe there was miscommunication on that play, what turned into an interception?
Yeah, first of all, he should have never thrown the ball. Should have never thrown the ball. I don't know if they played it on a replay to show what happened with receivers on that play. Did they show it? Right. Yeah, what happened? Because I want to see it because I know what happened. I want to see what they showed. Yeah, I think something else transpired on that play that shouldn't happen. So he shouldn't have never thrown the ball, though. Just give us another down, let's kick field goal. Stay in it.
And I know it may seem like we going hard on shedeur, but that's the price of greatness, man. If you're trying to be in the path of your pops, that's the price of greatness. They gonna put it on you when they go wrong. You had a great game, man. 400 yards, 5 touchdowns, but that one interception. Shannon put it perfectly when he said this.
Justin Fields was having the day of days. He was having the game of his career.
Beautiful.
Until the final 3 drives. Look, as great as Justin Fields played up until those final 3 drives,
Right.
he was awful the last 3 drives.
So you're not even taking what he did throughout the game where he was playing phenomenal football. You basing his performance on those last 3 drives only?
Let me ask you a question. You ever gambled in Vegas?
Bro, I'm cheap. Now, you know I ain't spending no money.
But let's just say for the sake of argument, you go to Vegas.
Okay.
You playing poker. You up 20 million.
Wait, I'm up how much?
You up 20 million. And then at the end of the night, you lost it all. Are they going to talk about that you was up 20 million, or are they going to talk about the fact that you lost?
Oh, they're going to talk about the fact that I lost.
Oh, so what are we talking about right now with Justin
Okay.
Fields?
Listen, when you put it to me like that,
And that's about as perfectly as you could put it. You know what I'm saying? And Prime was tired of all the chatter around us. He like, oh, okay, Stephen A was right. Let's move on, as he says here. But Shannon Sharpe's analogy applies to Deion Sanders and the Colorado program as a whole. No matter how much hype that was built up about it, he keeps reminding his team, we got to want this, and we got to go get it every week. We got to discipline and actively do what we need to do to obtain these wins. And that don't stop from week to week. You got to put in the work in the film room, like Tom Brady say, to be great. And when you do that, you'll get the wins. And then the celebrities will show up and all of that, just like they did in the beginning. I guarantee you, ain't as many celebrities now showing up as there was after they beat TCU. Nor would there have been if at Jackson State, Deion Sanders went 27 and I think 6 at Jackson State. If he didn't have that record, nobody would have been showing. Snoop Dogg, all them wouldn't have been showing up. So it bothers me when people like Charleston White go on these rants and F Deion and all of that because he moved on from HBCUs and went to Colorado. But then they conveniently leave out the shady business and the stealing that the HBCU Jackson State was doing to Deion as he was there building up the program. Do we need to support HBCUs? Of course. Like Eddie George is getting tired. He wants more attendance at his program. He wants us to show some of that same support that they showed Deion. But I got to keep it a buck with you. These celebrities and stuff show up because you're winning. And because Deion, he has that type of persona. He going to give you all the over the top, the stuff that make you want to pay attention to it. And you tune in whether you love him or you hate him. But then he starts winning. It's like both things are true. We need the celebrities to show up and help some of these programs like TSU to get more recruits and get, some hype around the program. But we need those coaches that are there, like Eddie George, to produce some wins to give these celebrities reason to show up too as well. Not too many years back, Michigan State was like a top tier program. Used to beat Michigan all the time. Now they're 2-4. Michigan is 7-0. They in the college football playoffs the last 2 years. Which one of those games do you think celebrities are going to have the inclination to pop into? I'm just saying, it works hand in hand. Like, celebrities will support, but you got to help yourself and give them a product on the field that's worthy of showing up for it too, though, you know? But let's hear what Eddie George had to say here, though.
Because we're not playing championship football right now. And we're finding ways to win, you know, but it's not championship football. We've got to learn how to flip that switch and break through that next step to play championship football in the month of October. And it's a wonderful opportunity that we have presented for us, that we were fortunate to find a way to win, but we can still look at the mistakes and grow from that. We've got to grow from that. So that's where we are. And I'm hoping that, you know, next week we'll have the same crowd next week that was here today. It was great. Would have loved for it to have been packed, you know, for the entire game, not after halftime when the bands left. But you know, we've got a group, a special group, and I think, you know, I want our fan base to really embrace that. I don't know if they really love football. I just don't know. I mean, I've been here for 3 years, and there's only been a couple games that they come to, and that many people and be excited. But I don't know if they truly love the game, because we are winning. You know, we're finding ways to win. I think it is entertaining. So I just encourage people to come out and really support our student athletes, because it makes a big difference when you're cheering on third downs and making noise and the energy. You know, it's hard as coaches, it's hard as players to constantly build up that energy, you know, and we need our home crowd. And if, you know, they don't find it entertaining, then, hey, I don't know what to say. But I thought that Big Blue, our fans, I really would love for them to embrace us and to support us no matter who we play. It doesn't have to be another HBCU, you know. It doesn't have to always be a party where there's liquor and wings and all that in the parking lot. I get it. I've been there. But if you're a real fan of football and you're really supporting Tennessee State football student athletes, come in the game and support us, and we'll all party at the end. So I just found that to be interesting, considering where we are, what's at stake, what's on the line, that it wasn't a full attendance during the entire course of the game. So that's all I have to say.
And listen, I really understand where this brother's coming from with what he's saying, but to question if people love football or not, listen, people do love football, but you have to question the organization as well for the years of product they put out. Me as Lion fan, I understand this very well. Tigers as well. I used to never miss a Tiger game listening on the radio or whatever. But when the product gets so shoddy over the years, the Lions, so shoddy over the years, now it's getting better, but it's like so many years of loss and terrible product. You just kind of lose your enthusiasm to go the extra step to see the game. You know, like people at one point with the Lions weren't even tuning in enough for it to be televised sometimes, because the product had got that bad. So we have to also question the organization as you're trying to question the fans. And honestly, Eddie George, I love that Eddie George is there, but you got to shoulder some of this responsibility too. You're 4-2 now. And yes, we as fans, we need to get on this bandwagon and help our brother out. You know what I'm saying? Let's watch the games. Let's cheer in. Let's help him get to where he need to go. But product last year, 4-7. Year before, 5-6. You got to give the fans something to want to tune in for. And I get it. Eddie George is a lot more reserved, so his process may take a little longer than that of Deion Sanders. Primetime is going to demand attention. He's going to talk enough and market himself enough and be loud enough to where either you love him or you hate him, but either way you're tuning in. You know, Eddie George is going about it in a different fashion, and that's fine. But we do need to help our brother get to where he's trying to go. We need to help our HBCUs get to where we're trying to go. Celebrities, yeah, I've said this in the videos I did before. Go check this out. Celebrities can definitely help these programs be elevated to the levels that they should be. But it works hand in hand. Celebrities not going to keep showing up if you keep putting out a shoddy product and getting blew out at the games. Ain't nobody got time to be taking time off from, you know, flying over here. They already fly everywhere all the time, this, that, and that. And you want them to fly into the game to watch a blowout? We got to be honest, at least with ourselves about that. We got to do everything that we can to help each other be the best that we can be, and give some light to the HBCUs. You know what I'm saying? But we gotta tell these HBCUs to do everything in their power to help themselves as well, and do business correctly when you do have people show up. Because I still don't like the way that y'all played Deion Sanders at Jackson State, and I don't like how the way that y'all played Ed Reed at Bethune-Cookman. You know what I'm saying? But it's a live and learn process, and HBCUs have to be held as accountable as well for their business practices. When you do have people show up, do business the right way. But let me know what you think about Stephen A. Smith's words about Colorado, and where you stand with Colorado. How you think shedeur and Deion Sanders and the program is going to fare for the rest of the year. And let me know what you think about the HBCU business and all this with Eddie George. But this is your boy P. Camp. Let me know what you think, what you don't think. Get at your boy.